Hey everybody, my name's Damien Derrick. This is Precision Airbrush YouTube channel. Today we are talking about how to do steady lines with your airbrush. Before we get into that, I just want to remind you that I have a beginner's guide to airbrush care free PDF download. It's in the link to the downloads in the video description. It's got all the common problems for airbrushing, how to diagnose and solve them, plus my cleanup procedure, so hopefully you don't have the problems in the first place. Okay, so how do you do steady lines? I assume you're watching this because you've got unsteady lines. Let's first just define quickly a line, and I'm going to do it nice and high because a line close or high is still a line. A correct line is one that starts and finishes without the dots at the end. So if I do another one where we do it incorrectly, we start with, so we moved, air came on, the paint came, the air came on, we moved, the paint came on, the paint came off while we still moved, and the air came off at the end. And you do that wrong. If you're not moving, you'll get a dot, and you'll move and you start with another dot. That's what we don't want to do. So a correct line is that. So that was a long-winded way to show you a line. How do you do it? How do you make it steady? I assume you're doing lines without the dots at the end. Steadiness comes from keeping your eye in front. So if your airbrush, I'll go a bit lower now, just because most people end up painting on closer to post. I'm about 5 centimeters. And you're steadily watching exactly where you're airbrushing. It will, I've exaggerated a bit there, it'll wobble because you're watching it. If you can keep your eyes in front where you want the airbrush to go and trust your hands will follow, it will automatically get that little bit steadier. Okay, that's one thing. Keep your eyes in front. Other way to get steady lines is to increase your speed. It's going to get straighter and faster, and you'll end up with the dagger stroke. Everyone talks about dagger strokes. That often comes from the speed of the airbrush as the paint's shutting off, and faster than it, like your airbrush is moving, it comes down to the point at the end, the dagger stroke that everyone goes for. Problem with moving at speed, you don't have control where it's going. So ideally you want to do my first method of just keeping eyes in front. It won't be as steady as the super fast line that you could do. I reckon this is the exercise I'm going to show you now. We're going to do it at a higher. I want you to do some lines higher. Do shorter strokes. So if you've got to follow a line, I'll follow this one, but at a higher height. Do it shorter and overlap it. That'll keep you in the right spot. You don't have to go too far ahead. You know, your eyes are just in front where we're going. That is the real trick to controlling a steady line. Okay, so now I'll do it on its own. Just try and get it as straight as I can. And back or forth and overlapping these lines, you can control. That way it's fairly straight. If we needed to follow loft and S bend, we just overlap it. So the air trigger control is important because you want to be able to a light amount of paint to come out and overlap it so we get darker. This is slow and in control and steady out. So there's some things to practice: overlapping the lines, keeping your eyes in front of where you're painting, and diagnose yourself. If your lines are looking like this, and a little bit exaggerated there, they look like this, you know you're too tense and you're watching exactly where the airbrush too close. And if you're doing a fast edge, a good thing, if you're doing it real fast, you can see a sort of almost like a sort of mottly feel to it. I'm sure if the camera can pick it up. But that, again, it's because of moving too fast. The air, it's atomized out of your airbrush because you're moving so fast, they collide with each other and form bigger droplets than what they would otherwise form. So you get this mossy sort of look when you're going too fast. So this is in the end the way to go. Some of the practices. The other thing I didn't actually mention is not always possible. Well, when you're close, especially, I'm actually making contact with the page. It helps me can keep the height the same with the board here, and it keeps it steady as well. Obviously harder when you're off. You're going to be a little bit more wobbly. So where you can, if you can make contact and drag your nail along the paper, that's going to keep it steady. Exactly like a pen or pencil makes contact, a paintbrush makes contact. You haven't got that with airbrush. We're off. Make contact with a finger or something and drag it along to another sort of tip to keep your line steady. There's no substitute for practice. So they say 10,000 hours to master anything. I say 10,000 lines and you'll start getting them super steady. So hope that helps. Good luck. Subscribe to the channel if you like the tips like this. Also got some more in-depth stuff, a lot of it, even some more advanced stuff. So if you're into airbrushing, please subscribe, follow, comment. That'd be cool too, because I'd love to talk to you all. All right. Thanks for watching. See you next time.